Hi, so I got onto YouTube because people loved the way I wore this lipstick. Let me show you. Nothing fancy, right? As in, it's just lipstick. The year is 2013 and Muthoni becomes fascinated by makeup. So she starts watching a bunch of makeup videos online. And I enjoyed watching that content so much so that when I would sit in the office, I would literally have my phone propped up against something, playing videos in the background while I worked on the laptop. But to be honest, that lip is popping. Ama, I'm not insane, Cindy. And then the questions began. What lipstick is that? And you tell them. Then they go by. Then they come back and they're like, "Ay, Muthoni, my lipstick does not look like yours. Kwani, what do you do?" Skills and process. When I discovered YouTube back in 2013, I knew I wanted to be in the space. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So I slept on the idea, and for the longest time, I just kept wondering, what would I want to do with this platform? And I remember I always wanted to have a talk show. So I was like, so I can create a talk show and post it on this platform, and I can host people. I wanted to host professionals and people going through shit to talk about how to handle certain things. And I always wanted to discuss topics that were considered taboo. Now I know what I want to do with this platform. So I'm like, yay, me. But I don't have equipment. I don't have a studio. And honestly, I don't even have a house. I don't have my own place. I slept on it for a whole year, and in 2014, I hit up my friends who I used to work with in the film and TV industry. Some of them had equipment, if not, at least had access to some equipment. Called them for a meeting, Power 254, I remember very well, the rooftop. It was like at 7 p.m. I called Mato, I called Willie, I called Mike. I told them what I wanted to do, and I told them at what capacity. Mato and Mike were going to help me film. Willie was going to help me write because we were both writers. And then silence, nothing happened. I kept trying to hit them up and people got busy and my dream died for a while. At the end of 2014, I said, you know what? I have access to people who have equipment. What if I offered to just go to them? Hit up a friend of mine called Mahebo. He is an amazing photographer. And I told him the idea of what I wanted to do. So at this point, I had abandoned my talk show idea, and now I had decided I was just going to just do content on YouTube. At this point, I had moved to Athi River. He comes to my place and we shot 2 videos. And I remember very well the first video that I shot with him, and it was a turmeric mask. Back in the day when we were doing those natural masks for your skin. At that point, I decided I was just going to do makeup and skincare and do my crafty stuff. At that time, it was crafts. It was crafty. It was still DIY, but it was DIY crafts. So we shoot our first video. And then, because Mahebo is a professional photographer and this is his job, he gets busy. Now we can't shoot anymore. With Mahebo busy, I hit up another friend of mine called Mohoro Masharia. Mohoro Masharia is another amazing photographer. And he was willing to come all the way to Athi River. And not just that, he even offered to start editing my videos. And I was so jazzed because I was like, because he knows how to do this. He does wedding photography and videography. So he knows how to get this stuff done. Mohoro was split between 2 counties. He didn't live exclusively in Nairobi. So he had to come and go between Nairobi and Nakuru. I think it's Nakuru. If not Nakuru, Naivasha. So he had to come and go. So filming with him was also like a bit of a struggle. But I was just happy when he was there because I was like, all I have to do is if I get 3 videos, 4 videos, I'm good for a month. I think he moved permanently to Nakuru. And I was just like, oh, what now? What happens? So I again called another photographer friends. I have a lot of photographer friends, by the way, because I used to be involved with the Kenya Photography Awards, and that's how I met all these people. So I hit up Chule. Ugh, Chule is like my ride or die. Chule, you're my ride or die. I've decided. So I hit up Chule, and Chule had lights and he had a camera, but he just used to do portraits and he didn't do video. But he was like, we can learn on the job. If you're willing to come through, you can come to my place, we can film here. So I, Muthoni, used to pack a bag. I had this bag, it looked like a hiker's bag, and I used to put my laptop, a change of clothes for at least 5 videos. I used to carry whatever I will need for videos for that day. I would come and like write a script and everything, and we would film. So I used to leave at the river at 6 a.m. to make sure I get to Ruaka by 9 a.m. because traffic and all these things. You know how Nairobi be. So I used to get to Ruaka at least 9 a.m. Then we would do like breakfast. I used to make sure I buy him food because I'm like, I can't afford to pay you. So we'd have breakfast, and then we'd start filming, and then we'd film till like 5 in the evening, and then I would have to pack up and go back to Athi River. And because Chula used to work for a bank and he used to do photography, so his weekends were booked. So I would only be able to go film with him like on his days off, during the weekday, or when he didn't have like a gig. So we had to work with the timings as well, because he had an 8 to 5 job. And we would make sure we shoot as much as we can, because we don't know the next time we'll be in a position to shoot. So we did this for like, I think 3-4 months. We did it for a long time. I don't even think it was 3 or 4 months. It was a long time, because we did it until I got a certain contract to do a gig, and I stopped doing YouTube for a while. And I did this gig, and then I was like, okay, we can get back into YouTube. Then now at that point, Chule got a lot busier, and his photography was just taking off, and we were having a lot less time to play around with. Then I was like, you know what, Muthoni, you have to buy your own, yes, Ziggy, equipment. So what I did was I picked up a project, and it was to build a website, and I decided, because they were going to pay me good money, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all this money and use it to buy equipment. And I was like, cool. So 2016, I finished their website. It was around October, and I finished this job, and I think I'm done, and I'm like, cool, and they're using it and everybody's happy. But from one person, Muthoni has not been paid. So Muthoni is not having it, and she's not happy. And it took them a whole plus year, because it was a year and like, I think 3 months before I got paid. And even for me to get paid, I literally had to pull a stunt, and then finally I get that call of, your check is ready. So I said, I'm sending a rider. I'm not even coming to see you. I don't want to see your faces. So I sent a rider, and I bought my first camera. The day, by the way, the day I received that money, when I got the check, I banked it, because it was a check. And the moment it cleared, because it cleared in 2 days, all that money was gone. I went and bought my camera, I bought lights, I bought a tripod, I bought a ring light. Like, I bought every single thing that my research had said I would need for my YouTube channel. FYI, when I was buying this stuff, I was looking for equipment that I would use to make beauty videos. So all the information I got was how to make beautiful beauty videos on YouTube, and they all said buy a Canon 70D, a 50mm lens, and get a ring light. I went and bought all that, and I now started doing my videos, and I was still doing skincare, I was doing makeup, and I was doing a bit of the crafty stuff. And the thing was, I noticed that a lot of people gravitated towards the skincare and the makeup videos, but I was falling in love with the crafty stuff. So I was just like, you know what, we'll just throw it in there, and then we'll see what happens. Then I got another contract, and then I just stopped doing YouTube, went, did my contract, finished, then came back. So it was a thing of me going and coming. And the reason that I felt like I didn't feel bad about going and coming, because I need to pay some bills, okay? So I go do my contract, I finish, I come back. Every time I would come back, I wanted to just do the crafty stuff. the DIY crafts, the making stuff. And that's what I loved, because now it got to a point, I used to do that every Sunday, but I wasn't filming because I was just like, well, the people don't even like this kind of content. So I would spend my weekends building things. I would make a table here, do something there, and then when I would post them on social media, everyone's like, oh my god, that's so cool, do you have a video on that? And I'm like, no. But because at the back of my mind, I'm like, I've been posting videos about such things and you guys don't watch them. What now? I was like, okay, I'll start filming. I'll start filming the DIY stuff. And if they watch, they will. If they don't, it's fine. I'll just film it because there's people who are curious about it. And like, since I was a young child, I was very crafty. And I used to love making things out of random thingies. And it was fun. And when our house was getting painted, you would find me there with a brush, joining in as we paint. Like when people were building things outside, I would just be there and I would ask, mbona you make hapa? Mbona umeka hivi? Mbona unatumia msumari na kaa hivi na si hivi? Like, I was such a curious person. And I think that curiosity kept growing and growing and growing to the point where now I was like, you know what? Maybe I can do this stuff. And the funny thing is, even at that time, when I would go online to watch videos on YouTube, I was still just watching makeup and lifestyle videos. I was never watching DIYs or crafty stuff. I didn't even know there was a whole world that was just about DIYs on YouTube. That's how I got not only into YouTube, but into DIYs. And for DIYs, I have said this multiple times, that I am self-taught. And when I say self-taught, I mean literally, if I wake up today and I want to know how to build a sofa, I will go and watch people building sofa. I will draw what kind of sofa I want and then think, okay, so this one would need a cut that looks like this. How do you make that cut? And that's how I learn. Even with the editing, I learn all these things where I'm like, okay, how do you do a jump cut? How do you do split screen? I literally type. Even with mbaos, I went there and I learned about the different mbaos and I asked questions about mbaos. If I want a mbao that will do this, what's the best one for this? What's the best one for that? You have to ask the people who already have this information. And you don't have to have all that information sitting in your head at all times. You can find out when you need it. So for me, that's how I got started. That's my story on how this Muthoni Gitau here, with the work she does and how she ended up on this platform. I am so happy that I managed to still find a way to have those conversations that I always wanted to have. It's not a talk show, but I'm having and I'm creating a space where people can have those conversations, and I'm creating room for those conversations to be had. So I'm happy that now I've finally, like, technically I have fulfilled the dream of what I wanted to do on YouTube. Not fulfilled the dream, but like, I've managed to do what I wanted to do on YouTube. I may have had to tweak it a bit, but my point is, what was important for me was to have those conversations and not have them by myself. I wanted to have those conversations with others. And the fact that in the journey of doing all these things, I also reconnected with something that I didn't know I really wanted to do. Because, you know, when you're a kid and they just chop it off as, oh, you know, she's a tomboy, oh, anapendanga tu kucheza na vitu ziko hivi hivi. So for me, it's the fact that I've been able to do all this and discover and rediscover myself as well, and go back to those things that used to make me so happy as a child, and now do them on a larger scale and share them with so many other people and inspire other people to do the same for their spaces and for their lives. And I want people to be able to live in houses they love and enjoy. There's nothing as beautiful as being happy to go home. Like, you know, after a long day of work, you just look forward to going home to your house because you're like, oh my god, that's the one place that I love being in. And that's the thing that inspires me and that inspires the creations that go onto this channel. So because on the other side we are just doing life, on here we're just DIYing it and we're flowing with all of it, and I'm here for it. So yeah, Hola, my name is Muthoni Gitau. This is my DIY and home improvement channel. If you are into cozy, beautiful looking homes and you want to know how you can achieve that for yourself, hit subscribe and join our DIY family, and we will be happy to welcome you into our fold. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for spending your time here and listening to my story, and I hope to see you in my next video. That's it for today. Bye.